Sponsored by Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, starting today with a slightly unexpected home show, but at least we're on the air, so we got that going for us. Good morning, or actually good afternoon, gentlemen. Jeff Defo at the Forest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. Defo, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Unfortunately, we had a little fiasco earlier this morning, and still a little funky here. I'm getting some feedback, but hopefully it'll straighten itself out. Misunderstanding. I didn't want to jeopardize the show. We were going to be at Fishtails, but had a little miscommunication. All has been resolved, but I don't want Lubie showing up there and having people going, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And then, of course, Mayo with the food would have expected a giant smorgasbord to come out right away.
Oh, absolutely.
So I wasn't sure if everybody had it buttoned down, and so we're going to reschedule that and hopefully get back into Kathy Fasala's Fishtails on 33rd Street.
We do have a Monday slot open at the end of the month.
Perfect. That's when we'll do it.
Which is supposed to be the closing day on my house. I might be just throwing hundreds around that day. I just like making it rain. It'll be a great day.
I certainly would want to be in attendance to see that. That's for sure. And if Lubie and I get hurt, pull a hamstring, diving for the money, then so be it. Worth it.
When I say hundreds, it might be in lira or drachmas or something like that, which is a little bit less.
Yeah, you're a big spender when you're flush, man. We've seen you. You're not a cheapskate.
Not only am I a big spender, I'm just, my whole mood brightens. And I don't know, they say money can't buy you happiness, but that's bullshit.
It doesn't hurt.
You know what? You can be happy without money, but it does seem like it's a little easier to negotiate and navigate happiness when you have a few bucks.
And money begets money because, once I've been in this like better frame, I had 2 bang up nights in a row of poker, which was, Thursday night in this home game, private game that wasn't at a home. It was at a private club. And then I ended up like parlaying that right into a tournament on Friday night at the Hard Rock, which I thought was going to conclude well before Val's flight landed at midnight. Because it started at 4 p.m. But lo and behold, I made it all the way to the final table and 5th place, and it did not conclude till about 2:15 in the morning.
Oh, Jesus.
And you know why Val is a great woman, besides the fact that she's smart and beautiful and cooks well and it puts up with me. Basically, when I told her that I was involved in this tournament and that I might. I said, you know what, if it's going past midnight, I said, I'll just dump my chips or I'll leave the table with chips and come back and get you. Goes, no, I'll take an Uber. It's okay. Go win lots of money.
You should have at least paid for that.
Oh, yeah. And I was pretty good all weekend. Had a good weekend. But I guess the Dolphins survived and the whole Tyreek Hill situation. Look, you guys didn't have a morning show, so I'll indulge you. I'll let you, Defo and Lubie, go ahead, give your thoughts on what transpired yesterday on and off the field.
I'll give it to you first here, Lubie. You were kvetching during the game. You didn't like the way the Finns were playing. I had a big stake in it from a reputational standpoint. But go ahead. Now, what were your thoughts on the game?
Wait, why? What did you say? You sent the thing on Instagram, the thing from Instagram for no filter.
Yeah.
What your take was. Like, I didn't. What was your?
That wasn't about the game. That was from a show last week. The guy tells me, I think the thing's bombing, right? And then the guy says, "Oh no, you're killing it." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So he sent me this thing where it had like 539,000 views for like some stupid thing I did, and I was like, "Fantastic!" I mean, you can't. I'd never been so encouraged, but I put a call out there about betting survivor pools, which I can get into. I still though I want to hear you. I love when you get emotional about the Finns. Because my only thought on the Tyreek Hill thing was, and I just got this in a news flash, they put 2 more years on Derek Chauvin's sentence after this took place.
Oh, geez.
And then I'm walking my dog and I'm thinking, I don't even like to walk Skippy when the pavement's so hot, like at 11, 12 o'clock. I figure got to keep him on the turf course the whole way. And I mean, to have to lay face down before you're going to play in an NFL game on the sidewalk in front of Hard Rock Stadium, do you know what a blast furnace that is? I mean, that was really, really strange. So, and it was, thank God they came back, because all of my survivor pool strategies were tied to the Finns winning.
Oh,
Otherwise,
that's a good
the
thing.
fact that we picked against the Bengals and said skip that game eliminated 40% of the people in the major pools around the country, including 273,000 went down in the ESPN pool.
There you go. Well, I would say the Saints were probably the safest bet, because
Carolina really is bad.
When they went up like 37, whatever it was, nothing. That was pretty easy survivor pool, survivorship or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
But getting back to the whole Tyreek situation. Okay, I had a couple of thoughts. Number one, on the bright side, it wasn't
Sarni's waiting for Lubie's debriefing of the Finns, though.
Well, no, we're going to get into the football part, because he was throwing all kinds of fits during the game where he's texting about.
I think he was great.
McDaniel. I was the one who said McDaniel was going to be fired by Christmas if they lost this game, but they came back. They did what they had to do. They don't look especially good, but before getting into that, I did want to get into look on the bright side. Unlike Scotty Scheffler, Tyreek was released before the game without being arrested or taken down and booked and thrown into a jail cell. On the not so bright side, Scotty Scheffler never tasted asphalt or Kentucky bluegrass when he had his little run in at the PGA Championship this year. And I was like, let's see, why would somebody be put face down on the ground in cuffs after driving a fancy car near the stadium?
Was there a shot he might have been a player driving like a $500,000 car at a game and speeding to get there? And I was right by the stadium, for God's sake. You've driven in that path many times.
We don't know the particulars of what was said or not said. Tyreek, his side of the story was that he was respectful, that he kept both hands on the steering wheel, that he did not do anything to inflame the situation. It is... It's kind of very disturbing, very ugly. Hopefully the body cameras are on, and one of the officers has already been kind of transferred to desk and administrative duty and taken off the road.
Yeah, what he threw him on the ground, though? It just occurred to me as you were speaking. Okay, he probably offered him 4 tickets to the game. Trying to get out of this thing, and immediately sensed that it was not only a bribe, but an empty bribe. And
yes, yeah, it was in the 400 level in the hot.
It was on the sun part, yeah,
the sun part of the stadium. Nobody wants any of that. But then it also got me thinking back to my time covering the team in the late 80s, early 90s.
Did you get arrested?
No, but I was thinking about when Dolphins were arrested back then. It was actually for real things, like trying to sell a kilo of cocaine to undercover agents. That would be one Mark Duper, who I remember him pleading out, and that was after his career it ended. I remember Sammy Smith got into trouble for major things like that, and it just back then when Dolphins were Dolphins and men were men, the infractions were definitely real. So
speeding violation doesn't usually lead to being face down on 120-degree pavement, though.
The only thing I could think
might have
of,
been exceptional, yeah.
And not to be facetious, although Ken the professor was when he came up with this line, is that maybe it came up in the system that he had missed a child support payment, and when you have 12, it's sometimes easy to skip. So it's I
don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem to deter this guy. Whatever happens, his house burns down. He catches 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he still played well.
He's slammed around like he's George Floyd, and he goes out there and catches an 80-yard pass to save the game.
That
seems to fuel and inspire him to better things. So there were people like that, though.
That's some good late game resilience there. And does he have a reality show? Because it seems like his life is a reality show.
Kind of crazy, yeah. So what did you think about the game, Lubie? I really want to hear this, because I didn't get a chance this morning.
I think they struggled for nearly 3 quarters. Both sides of the ball, to be brutally honest. And I get, look, Anthony Weaver's a new defensive coordinator, so they're going through a different scheme again. So that'll take something. Ramsey had been flirting with being injured. They don't have Chubb yet to play on the other side. Phillips, who did look really good coming off of his ruptured Achilles, which was nice to see. The offense was just weird. Look, Tua, it's pretty clear what Tua is. Look, if Tua has time, he's as good a passer as I've ever seen. His anticipation, his timing, his accuracy. That throw he made when Tyreek Hill got hit was between 4 guys. Like, I don't even know if Montana, he threw it between 4 guys, and it was perfect. But the problem with Tua is if he has any pressure, he's Brady. Like if he has any pressure, he not only can't avoid the pressure, he shuts down. And he either throws it away, takes a sack, or misses wide open people, which is what annoys a lot of Dolphins fans. However, the fourth quarter, we got to see good Tua. Like the offensive line blocked for him. He was comfortable. They moved the ball. They put it in the end zone. And late in the game, even though I wanted him to push it further, McDaniel went against his normal inclinations to push it, which would probably lead in a sack and a missed field goal or no field goal again, which happened like 3 times to them. Kept it on the ground. They moved the ball. They got in field goal range. Suck-ass Sanders made a long field goal to win the game, and he made a perfect field goal. And they came away with a win. And look, in years past, when the Dolphins played garbage for 3 quarters, they would have lost by 2 to 3 scores. So the fact
Fugly. It was a fugly win, but they don't ask how. They just ask how many, and we'll take it. Buffalo looked pretty crappy in the first half. I was watching part of that game because I was at my local Three Sons Brewing, which is a Bills bar. They didn't have any TVs tuned to the Dolphins, and the Bills were down. I think it was like 17-3 or something early in that game against the Arizona Cardinals at home, and they look like crap, but they rallied big time. And I guess Josh Allen finally woke up, and they got a big score before halftime. So, look, the bottom line is that all hail the AFC East. They're 3-0 going into tonight's Jets game at San Francisco, including the what we thought were going to be the pathetic Pats, but chalk it up to Mr. Mayo, Coach Mayo, my favorite coach in the league, gets his first W replacing Bill Belichick. And we've got 3 AFC East teams that are 1-0. So how about them there, Apples, Defo?
Well, you got another one coming up tonight. Jets. Well, what do you believe there? Is Aaron Rodgers the savior the Jets have been looking for since Joe Willie?
I sure hope not.
Or is San Francisco going to demolish them? And at the same time, see, I can't bet on a team that's cursed, and the Jets operate under a curse. I believe that to be true.
They do.
Their last big game was 1969. I don't know if you believe that Fugazi stuff when they made it to the AFC title games under Rex with Mark Sanchez, and it seemed to be a little bit phony. But, yeah, I mean, it's been a long time for them. Longest route out of the playoffs, New York Jets.
Did I tell you, I want to talk about cursed teams, not only, the longest team that's won a Super Bowl without winning one back in whatever it was, 1969, 70. But
69,
yeah. And, but I actually went to a game they played at Shea Stadium, and it was a tragic event. There was like some little remote controlled, before there were drones. I don't know what this thing was. It was like a little miniature plane that was going around the stadium, and it crashed into the stands and killed somebody.
Oh, geez.
And that really is a curse when that happens at the stadium. I don't even know. It was like some promotional thing at halftime. It was a very bizarre situation, but we wish the Jets well, but not that well. I'm definitely rooting against Rodgers because of all his zaniness and I guess some of the things that he says. And I don't mind the drugs. Drugs are fine in my book, but if you're gonna go start spewing conspiracy theories and nonsense, especially on now, shows that are beamed out on ESPN, I don't respect that. All right. Meanwhile, I wanted to just kind of recap. Lubie gave his very measured, calm response to the game today. I'm going to read a couple of these texts he sent during the game, which maybe not so calm and measured. Mike McDaniel has to stop calling plays. He has zero feel for the game. Zero. Get the ball at the 30, get 7 yards on a run, and don't run again. And then
I think he stole that from Chris Perkins.
And then at the end,
I don't know. That was an original.
And then after the game ends, he says, "Pull that out of their butts. The defense woke up. The offense is a mess. McDaniel sucks at play calling. Sucks in all caps. All caps." And I actually thought that our friend Ken, the professor, made a very good point. It was a very salient point. Things that you don't really hear that much from us or any of our shows. But he just says, he just thinks, with all the rust that we saw in a lot of these games with first string quarterbacks, whether it was Josh Allen or Tua and all that, he says he thinks coaches need to reevaluate the whole preseason as far as how much time starters get. He says, I don't know about if they have to go back to the old days of playing the whole first half of game 3, but playing just one series in the whole preseason thing it just made for a lot of rust and a lot of scary moments in these opening games for teams that were supposed to be vastly superior or somewhat superior, but it's the NFL. Anyway, I thought that was a good point, and that's why we saw some real
Look at the
rust.
Bengals. I mean, Burrow didn't
Yeah.
play all last year, and then you don't play him in the preseason at all either. Like, that's the issue they're going to have is you're pretty much. And Jason Cole, your former cohort at the Sun Sentinel, told us this last year when Defo and I brought up gambling on preseason. He said, I was never a fan of it. Now I really am not, because they don't even play in the preseason. And what that's led to is the first month of the season is like a mini preseason. And I think that's a disaster. Like, you're going to just throw 4 games away. Like, that's weird to me that you're not playing your starters at all in the preseason. Like, and it was clear Sunday. Like, what we saw in a lot of the games was very slow, very And I mean, the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Bengals, to me, were the prime epitome of that.
I guess it's the thinking now is with 17 regular season games that it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Is that a song from some damn Yankees or something like that?
All games count the same, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, if you missed the playoffs by 1 game, that game that you lost on the opening week is just as damaging as the one you lost on the final day when everybody's crying about it.
Right.
So, I mean, Cole's absolutely right. He actually said that September is now the preseason for NFL teams.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take teams a while to find a groove. Some were lucky enough to get into it right away. But where we saw, I don't know if it was crummy football, but not exactly. I mean, the Dolphins are supposed to sprint out a shoot and put 35 on the board in the first half. And they're dying there if ATN doesn't fumble going into the end zone.
What a play.
That was a burial shot right there.
And speaking of that play, I'm a little bit surprised. I don't know if they replayed it a bunch, but I thought that Jacksonville was going to ask for a replay on that, because I don't know if the Dolphin guy who recovered it had full control and possession while he was still completely in the end zone. I think it was like a situation like the other night. I thought part of his foot hit the back goal marker, the white stripe, before he had full possession. But Jags apparently never even asked for a look-see, and I don't know. Did you see that replay?
It looked like he had it to me.
He rolled over twice. Again, it's not a catch. Like, as long as you have the ball and your ass hits the ground, it's a possession, and that's
okay. All right.
I mean, he did go out of bounds eventually, but he had the ball. He rolled over like 3 times.
Never hurts to ask, throw that hanky, and
Peterson is really weird about that. He didn't. There was a time where they should have challenged something that was definitely a horrible call, and he was trying to save his timeouts, and I think it ended up hurting them in the end.
That wasn't like the DQ I suffered at Colonial Downs on Saturday, which it took the stewards, the judges, essentially longer to decide that than it did to come up with a verdict in the Trump hush money trial. You're looking at this thing for like an hour later, you find out you're screwed if you had the 6 ball. Unbelievable.
There's and as bad a weekend. I mean, as good a weekend I had at poker or week. I just gave a bunch of it back at Kentucky Downs, but I love betting that track. It's one of those things like
Fantastic.
I enjoy losing because it's just such a carnival ride, up and down. It comes around and you think it's over, but wait, there's more. There's another furlong to go. And man, I ended up getting split out of a trifecta. Yes, it was the same old story, but that's okay.
It's when your friend hollers to you, "They're going around again."
Yeah.
Jumping up and down. What do you mean they're going around again? Who said that?
Let's put a feather in the cap of this football week 1 by going over a contest winner, because we did use the Dolphins game.
How'd that go?
The ultimate tiebreak. It went fantastic. Do you see any little fentanyl slips? No slips, no tiebreaker, no hat required. We did go to the Dolphin game, and let's do a quick recap here. In honor of the first NFL game Friday night in Brazil, we did a Brazilian steakhouse at one of those, I guess they call it rodizio type restaurants. And one of the first ones that opened here in South Florida in my Fort Lauderdale, Chima Steakhouse is.
Might that still be the best?
I think it is really way up there.
I haven't been there in a long time, since their very beginnings. But I always thought it was fantastic. I really thought they did a great job.
Been there 21 years, class establishment, white linen tablecloths, and excellent salad bar, and excellent proteins and meats that they go around carving up. And Chima, it's short for a drink that is renowned in that part of Brazil, which again, I lost all the details. Oh, wait, here we go. Do we really need these details? No, but
What are
I'll
you
just
trying?
lose it for now. I don't know. No, Chima, the name of the restaurant,
Yes.
comes from a drink that's called chimasca. I don't know what it's called, but it's basically a traditional drink in the Rio Grande do Sul area of Brazil, and it symbolizes hospitality and friendship. Chima, and I guess the drink there is like chimao something or other. But that was thrilling, and I'm glad I stopped the show for that. All right, that was part one. Part two. Heavy favorite, winning in the first leg of the Florida Sire Series, as it's now known. It was like a 1-2 shot. The Vinny Viola horse, rated by merit, looks like he's going to be something. He's probably going to be maybe pointed to the Breeders' Cup juvenile if he can get the distance, or one of the sprint races. But at 6 furlongs, he stopped the clock in 109.2, which at the Gulfstream track at this time of the year is pretty impressive. He won by like 8 lengths, rated by merit, the number 8 horse. We had 12 people who correctly picked that horse.
Oh, nice.
Of those 12 people, 10 of them picked the Dolphins. Only 2 of them picked the Jaguars. You know who picked the Jaguars by 20 points?
Oh, Sheldon G. No, Sheldon.
Yeah, not a good week for Sheldon G. He was way off.
Man,
That one he didn't lose by a toe. He lost by a lot.
He put
more.
up 3 tickets, and the damage. I hope he recovered with tickets that he didn't display or that I didn't see on social media. But he put up 3 tickets, 2 on the pros and 1 on college. Sort of de-escalating value from like 200 dimes. And between the 3 of them, it was like almost $365,000 in bets.
I thought it would have been
None of them hit, unfortunately. So hopefully he had some parlay like the professor did and got out on some other wager.
You lose some, you have some good weeks. But I just thought it would have been a little bit funny. Well, not funny to him. We love Sheldon G. But if he had lost all those big tickets, but then somehow managed to win Brunch for 2 at 10 pounds.
Small compensation
alas,
consideration.
it was not to be.
As great as it is for Joe Beja and company to provide that.
No, but what we had was among the 10 Dolphins pickers in the tiebreaker. It was weird. Nobody had Dolphins by 3, which to me is one of the
that should have been the number
standard plays.
Yeah, because you get screwed by the hook on half a point.
A lot of people had Dolphins by 7. Some had Dolphins by 10, 14, 17. So it basically, one of our contestants had the Dolphins by 5, but that was not good enough. In fact, it was a past winner, Mark Balo. Congratulations. You had the Dolphins by 4 points, and that was the closest among the 10 people.
It's pretty good handicap.
Dolphins. So Dolphins by 4 is good for Sunday Brunch for 2 at 10 Palms. Mark Balo, congratulations, longtime player. I think a second-time winner. Nice. And I will be sending out the appropriate email notifications, and just let me know which day you would like to go. And again, a reminder for all the other previous winners. I've got a list of like 10 of them now. Somebody did sign up for the end of the month, September 29th. Thank you for getting back to me, Eric Newberg. But there's a whole bunch of you out there who have to claim your prizes. Otherwise, it's going to evaporate, I guess, just like the prime rib usually evaporates right into my belly. It doesn't evaporate. It goes down, and then things happen to it.
It doesn't revert back to the show hosts?
No, that's not the way it works.
Always worked that way with Lubie, and when Lubie and we were doing shows.
Joe Beja looked like he had a great time.
I guess it'd be Lubie and I were doing shows. Yeah.
Disney Epcot, Joe Beja celebrating.
This man is living large, man. He deserves it with the job he does.
He knows how to live. I'm going to be living.
I'm at some Motel 6 in Kissimmee, St. Cloud, saying, "Listen, kids, it's just as good as being on the grounds." And he's got like a 5-bedroom mansion that Walt himself built, for his own private use.
What do they call him? He's a baller. He's a high roller. We love Joe Beja. He knows how to live. I love hanging out with people who, as opposed to people who are dissecting every receipt and saying, "Wait a second, this has an 8% service charge."
You've been going wild with that on Let's See.
I love it. I love it, especially.
And the sarcasm is not even dripping. I mean, it's on there like gravy on the meatball on Sunday, which unfortunately we missed.
Oh yeah, that's okay. It's a good thing actually that we did not do the road show today, because I had a big weekend of eating, and also tonight I've got that first round of judging in the the Battle of the Beaches cocktail competition up at Butcher and the Bar in Boynton. All those bees, how's that for alliteration? But if you can, come on out. No admission charge. You get to grab a seat inside there at Butcher and the Bar. They're going to be having special menu items on tap, along with some good cocktails. And then we're going to have 3 of the finest mixologists in South Florida battling tonight. I don't know who the 3 are. I do have the list of all 9 of them, but they're going to be battling 3 weeks, 3 competitions, and the finalists each week will meet in the finals. It's going to be at 3 locations in the Boynton area. The first one tonight, again, is at Butcher and the Bar. Then there's one at a place called the Sweetwater. That's September 30th. Round 3, Butcher and the Bar on October 14th. And then the finals, November 11th, Veterans Day at Sweetwater. Again, that's come on out. I'm going to have a good time there. It's what's not to like about sipping drinks and kind of checking that out. All right. Meanwhile, let's take our first break. And because it is a Tropical Acres Monday, it is a good time to remind you of all the great things going on at Tropical Acres tonight, like Half Price Wine Night and Happy Hour in the Bar from 4:30 to 6:30, which goes every Monday through Friday. Half Price Wine Night is every Monday and Tuesday. Of course, you still got $39 lobster specials ongoing up until about Thanksgiving time, and that you can't beat that deal. Twin fresh lobsters from New England, steamed, and with a salad and a side dish. So many good things at Tropical Acres. And just tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Jack Studiali and Company will take great care of you. It's at 2500 Griffin Road, and it is not too early to get your name on the books for Thanksgiving, because they are open on Turkey Day, and they have a great menu of some holiday classics along with some of their own classics like the prime rib and filet mignon. Give them a call, 954-989-2500, 989-2500 to get your name in the books for Thanksgiving Day. All right, let's take it away. Let's do
That's it? Oh, okay. You can't say enough good things about Tropical Acres. It really is a wonderful place. And we'll have more of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox coming up in a moment.
From a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar. A great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food and a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. One of the best restaurants in Broward, J&C Oyster in downtown Hollywood. At 2035 Harrison Street, this place is fantastic and worth a drive. It's got creative, cutting-edge seafood and more with an Asian twist and gorgeous cocktails. Chefs Raheem Seeley and Monica Dominguez cut their teeth at some of Miami's best restaurants. Don't miss some of these fantastic dishes, including grilled oysters, fried chicken, and the Thai red curry crab. Open Wednesday through Sunday for dinner with daily happy hour and outdoor seating. Go to jncoyster.com for reservations and information. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Food, glorious food. We're back on the Lunchbox. Before getting back into the show, just a reminder out there that Dine Out Lauderdale is ongoing throughout the month of September. Multi-course dinners and also lunches at over 170 restaurants in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Go online to dineoutlauderdale.com to check out the place that you might want to explore this week. So many good ones. And also, it's in conjunction with our friends at Visit Lauderdale and the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. Go on to the VL Food Wine website, vlfoodwine.com. Get your tickets now. The whole list of events is up there for the festival, which will be here before you know it. It's hard to believe. We're already in September, and then it'll be the holidays, and then it'll be January, and it'll be time to go check out some of the great things at vlfoodwine.com. All right. Sarney reminds me that today is 9/9, and he asked if I ever went to a restaurant in the Boston area called 9/9. It was like I don't know, it was like a steak and ale type place. Do you recall or ever heard of that, Defo?
Not overly familiar with Beantown restaurants. I've eaten there, and
he said it was
a
a
some good
chain.
places, but I don't remember that place.
It was a regional chain, and it was the 9/9. I guess was in honor of Ted Williams.
Oh yeah, nice.
Not Wayne Gretzky, because Gretzky never played for the Bruins, but yeah, I guess Ted Williams, the Splendid Splinter. Now he's the Splendid Stalactite because he's frozen in a vat somewhere in Arizona.
Is his head still hanging there?
I don't know.
Cryogenic slab.
His head.
Remember that his son did that, I think.
It was frozen. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? All he knows in this upcoming election, if it was a choice between Ted Williams' frozen head,
yeah,
and the other guy, I might go with Ted Williams' frozen head.
If you came across a head shrinker and he had a few offerings, I'd probably go with that for sure.
The Splendid Stalactite.
Big debate tomorrow, Mayo. Are you going to be tuned in?
Oh, I am just I'm on pins and needles, Defo. Yeah, I'm going to be tuned in. I'm still amazed by all these polls showing how tight it is, and mystified, amazed. But hey, democracy is a glorious thing as long as we still have it. I want everybody who's able to vote in November's election be able to cast a ballot and have that ballot counted. And if at the end of the day, the person who wishes to do away with that system prevails, well, then we deserve what we get, right? So,
well, if you ever wanted to get like a real clear picture of what needs to be done about child care, and just go back over that speech that Trump made when asked about it, and I think it'll clarify virtually everything, every aspect of,
and as
of what needs to
J.D.
be
Vance
done.
just drop them off with grandma or your aunts. Except what happens if grandma and grandpa are both dead? Well, then I guess you're just shit out of luck.
SOL.
There I go.
SOL.
Again. SOL. Thank you. Sorry, Gretchen. I'm in a little bit of a loose-lipped mood today. These
There
things
you go.
happen. I wanted to recount. Well, first of all, a question for you because the NFL starts. A lot of bars are known for being like havens for certain teams and certain fans. But I was a little bit mystified because this happened 2 times yesterday. Once with me and once with Val before we met up at a place that showed the Dolphins game. But and of course, our friend at Shenanigans, it goes without saying, they are the ultimate hometown home team sports bar, but they also have a variety of games on all their TVs because they do have the full package and they have a lot of them with sound up for the Dolphins, which I think is right. But I went into Three Sons is known as a Bills bar because the owners are from Buffalo, but every TV in the joint was on the Bills game. And I went in there for a beer and I asked if I could get one of the TVs switched to the Dolphin game. And they kind of gave me a look because there's all these Bills fans wearing their Josh Allen jerseys. And
You'd figure they'd want to keep track, though, of the other teams in the division.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least.
That's-
I mean, what's wrong with dedicating one screen to the Patriot game and one to the Dolphins?
Well, there was one table of travelers. They had all their bags packed ready to go to the airport. They had like all their little tablets and screens set up. That they had like 4 different games going on there, one little table, including the Dolphins game at one point. So I was like peeking over their shoulder. But then I ended up leaving there by halftime. Val went to a place, the Downtowner, which is going to be closing with a friend of hers. And I didn't realize that the Downtowner was a Minnesota Vikings bar, and every TV in there was tuned to the Vikings game, which might explain why they're going to be shutting down afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Ton of Viking fans down here. Yeah, you always see the guys with the horns walking around in Los Olas. My thing, these bars, I don't know that it made that much difference to these people, but this dispute that's going on with Disney and DirecTV, a lot of the bars pipe in their games on DirecTV. So I was looking for a place where I could watch the Dolphin game and the final of the U.S. Open men's competition yesterday.
Right.
I got underway at about 2:00, and I went to 2 different places, and neither of them were capable of putting it up because they had DirecTV. And so that was an unfortunate shutout. Of course, when I mentioned that I would like to see the tennis match, you got a face, a Mayo face, as if they had just put mayonnaise on my hot dog. But
And Taylor Fritz is an American, and he's
He is American.
I thought it was a big thing. I mean, I didn't expect him to win, but I thought he was in there, with the same shot that anybody would have. Anything can happen, and he had been playing well and. Not shown anywhere, and then a look of what's the matter with you? when I asked if it was possible to see it, 2 different places.
It's bizarre though to me because didn't they used to start it? First of all, the finals of the U.S. Open used to be on CBS, and then CBS would show the football game at 1:00 in the window, and then they would show the 4:00 final going right into 60 minutes, and then. But now, of course, with ESPN and ABC having the package, I guess they didn't care and just went right in the middle of those first block of games, which is annoying because, that kind of final, it should have, started at 4:30 or something like that. So
you want to give it some kind of, a little bit of a high-profile spot, especially going against football. But it turned out to be a blowout anyway. So it was. I pulled a Sarnia. I was following it on my friend's phone. Point by point.
But meanwhile, that DirecTV, ESPN, it has not been resolved yet. I have no idea.
I
what's
don't think
going
so.
on.
No.
I have Dish Network, and all I know is that for the last 10 years, I have not been able to get. Dish Network has had a dispute with the local Fox affiliate.
Still don't have Fox. This has been years.
I've turned this into a positive. It's so bizarre because we still get Fox News, unfortunately, on Dish. We still get Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2. We get Fox Business, but we just don't get the actual Fox network. Now, the Fox network carries things like the World Series and NFL games and occasionally
a lot of college
Dolphin
football games too.
A lot of college football games. I've just learned to weed
Major League
out
Baseball. They have
Fox out of my life. Yeah, the World Series. But on the bright side, I don't have to see Gordon Ramsay or that god awful Masked Singer show. So I look at it as a plus.
You're not a fan of Gordo's work on TV?
I haven't seen enough of it to comment because it's been blacked out on my screen for the last 10 years.
Look, the guy does a good job. He wouldn't have become this popular unless he had something going.
No, by all accounts, it's just the TV persona that he really is a nice guy. And
everybody says it. I've talked to many people that work for him, and they say he's a sweetheart of a guy.
And his Hell's Kitchen in Miami is getting some good reviews from people who've been
Yes.
going there. I have not been there yet. I don't have really much inclination. Oh, that brings me to another topic, is that the Sun Sentinel, in their monthly series of best foods, and they just last month, or they concluded their best Cuban sandwich, which had a worthy winner in Sandwich de Miami. But now they're launching up their next go round, and it's best steak in South Florida. And that one, to me, is like pizza. It's too wide open.
That's
and what
tough.
are you judging a steak place on? The actual just meat and the steaks, and which, if so, which cut? Or
like,
do you
is it
include
only like top? Like, I don't know, Morton's,
like
or
NYY steak and
NYY.
bourbon steak
Those are
and
like
prime?
places.
What's it? Prime 112 is
Prime
the fancy
112
one.
is overrated.
Or are you going for value, or also
Prime.
atmosphere, ambiance, side dishes? Are you including side dishes as part of the equation? I don't know. I'm very flummoxed by the whole thing. And so I'm just going to stand back and stand by as a proud steak boy, and see what the finalist list comes up. And look, I love my Tropical Acres for certain things, like their special cut fillet and the prime rib. But in terms of some people only want USDA prime meat, and that is a consideration. Some people only want to have a below the bank steakhouse where they want to be fleeced, or where they want to spend $250 per person. And a lot of these places up in Boca, some of them are good. I mean, there's a place called New York Prime that's very good.
Prime's really good.
Gallagher's, I had a mixed experience there with Dick Steen. Where do you stand? And
Abe Louis always gets good reviews. I haven't eaten there for a while, but it was a standout representative in the steak category, no doubt. But I mean, it's high end stuff. It's like you said, it's way across the board. I mean, if you're talking about Texas Roadhouse and a $32 bone-in ribeye, that's excellent. Can you really compare that to the $95 version at Smith and Walensky? I don't know.
No, and then
which comes just on a plate, like the parsley's extra.
Right.
It's a la carte. They
you
put
get a choice
one parsley leaf, and you're going, wait a minute. Then you check the receipt there, and they're like, parsley, $1.25.
No, it's actually, you get a choice of parsley or kale. The kale is $3 upcharge.
No, I don't know that they're doing that, but
they're not.
Where the sides are all $10, $12, $15.
Yeah, it's
it's
$20
enough maybe for one
days.
person. There, get one spoonful of mashed potatoes. That's a whole different category. I do have to add, on the Cuban sandwich front, I defied a Mayo credo that has been much debated here on the show. And I was at Bonefish Max, and I happen to know that they put out a pretty good Cuban sandwich. So I ordered one, and trying to make up for that experience that I had at the Southern Kitchen place in Melbourne, which the Cuban sandwich was a wild variation on a theme. It wasn't really a Cuban sandwich, although it was decent. But they make a very good Cuban sandwich at Bonefish Max, Mike Mayo. I think you would give this one a thumbs up. I just finished off the last of it before the show.
I'm always up for finding unexpected treats in unexpected places, and again, in the steak vein, along those lines, one of the best steaks
I heard you in my head saying, "Why would you order that?"
Well, Bonefish is. I mean, they have their menus.
A little bit of Russian roulette, but that's okay. I don't mind that.
No, but I knew already that my son had a couple there when we've eaten there, and it always looked great.
So one of my favorite steaks in South Florida, unexpected, but Thai Spice, which is a
you like
Thai restaurant that's on Commercial Boulevard, and it's kind of like a more upscale. It's not like one of these street Thai places that I like Larb, and there's a new one called Gai Chicken, which is really good. And my friend Sopanut up in Delray has Eat Thai. Those are like traditional Thai street food, kind of bare bones places. But Thai Spice is like, if you want a nice date night, they have full bar, but they also have some of the most outstanding prime steaks. Actually, our friend Hui from Kaizen, I got to remind everybody, if you're looking for a great sushi night, go out to Kaizen up on Federal Highway. But he took me for my birthday last year because I had never been to Thai Spice, and we sat and had lunch, and he ordered this prime ribeye that they marinate in some sort of special juices. I don't know if it's like a citrus pineapple juice, but some other things, and then they serve it with some Thai sticky rice, and but their ribeye steak at Thai Spice is in my top 5 as far
Wow,
as steak
really?
experiences in South Florida. So sometimes, where you least expect it, you can find a real treat. So that's
I'll give you an oddball one. I don't know if they still do this or do it as well as they used to, but when they first came on the scene, I think their original location was in Kendall, and I lived in the area at the time. Was the Canton Chinese, and I think they
Mhm.
expanded like 4 or 5, and they had a steak on the menu that was phenomenal. I mean, it was
Oh,
really, really great.
that reminds me, Christine Lee's is well known at
Yeah,
Gulfstream, was well known for doing some great steak dishes, like straight up American style, not cut up with, the Chinese sizzling platters, but actual just genuine American prime steaks. They still do that. And they have one of the best lamb chop dinners that I've gotten. Two thick cut on the bone lamb chops that they grill up in a beautiful manner. So yeah, that's another one. Don't sleep on that. And you never know where you're going to find some great stuff. And Bonefish Max, I completely can see
well,
having
Fish
a
Max does in general a very good job. I did take a bite of my friend ordered a meatball parmesan. I wouldn't go out of my way for that. That could have fallen into the Mayo category. But I will say that, and that was one of the few times I've ever tasted something there that I thought,
yeah, they must
nothing
have a
special. Yeah.
few Cubans working in the kitchen or developing the menu. So that's
But it was
always
the
good.
right, done the right way, as you were talking about last week. I mean, the way they put it together was what you're familiar with from these places we were talking about in the Gables and in Hialeah and places where you'd expect it to be more authentic. Let's put it
Yes.
that way.
There you go. Hey, let's give a quick rundown of the week ahead, and we'll take our second break. But tomorrow we're going to have it's like a Lauderdale by the Sea festival day. We're doing a double header. First at Taco Craft, Lauderdale by the Sea, at our usual 1 p.m. time, and then
Falsetto man, he always blows us away when we come
yeah,
there.
but he's
It's
not
great.
going to be able to make it
Oh
this
yeah,
month.
wow,
We
I love that
got
guy.
he's away traveling, so he sends his regrets. But Chef Robbins Martinez, will be out there
He's
along with
great.
the general manager of Taco Craft Lauderdale by the Sea. So we're going to be enjoying some fine food and beverage there, and then we're going to mosey across the street at 3:30. We're going to do a bonus edition because we're going to be replaying it again next week when Lubie. Oh, actually, I'll be away next week for
I'll
a
be
day.
next.
But basically, even keel fish shack right
Oh yeah,
across the
wow.
street. And Brad is looking forward to seeing everybody. He's back from Ohio.
That's a nice parlay, Michael.
It's a great parlay.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't go wrong with that. And if anybody wants to come out, if I see your face at both places, I will buy you a drink at Even Keel for the afternoon show. I will buy you
What
a
if somebody
drink.
comes to Taco Craft is thirsty then, and they swear to you that they're going to even keel at 3:30?
Well,
Will you believe them, Mayo?
I will go to the
Hundreds of
videotape.
people that will show up for this show.
I will recognize faces if they were seen earlier in the day. We might have to go to the surveillance video. But again, that's tomorrow. Wednesday, we are going to be early edition, kind of a cafe edition with our friend Angelo Elia at the Angelo Elia Bakery Bar on Oakland Park Boulevard. And that's a great place for pastries, coffee, light bites. And I got to remind everybody, Casa d'Angelo, the locations that you can get the fine dining are 3 of them. So they're open every day, but in Boca, Fort Lauderdale, and Aventura. But we're going to do a little bit something different this time and have some good coffee and pastries on Wednesday with Angelo. Hopefully that will stay on the docket. He was traveling, but I think he's back and ready to go. And then Thursday, last but not least, we're going to see our friend Kevin. I'm not sure if Brandon's going to be up there too, but at the
nice.
newly converted Bash New Southern Kitchen and Tap in Delray Beach, the West Delray Marketplace. That will be a regular 1 p.m. time, and we're going to check out the conversion because it was just kind of one of their basic gastropub, but now they've gone full-on scratch kitchen, and I see the flattering posts, the raves keep coming on. Let's see, South Florida.
I'm loving it.
Somebody else made it into the Fort Lauderdale location, and they just can't get enough of the great hospitality, Southern hospitality, along with those great biscuits and all the other Southern classics like fried chicken and waffles, and jambalaya and all the good stuff. That's at Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, 525 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale, along with now in the Delray Marketplace shops just west of the Turnpike and Atlantic and Lyons Road. It's tucked in the back part of that complex, plenty of parking, very easy, and now you can enjoy the full menu of Southern classics there 7 days a week. All right. I think it's time for our final break, and
Yes, sir.
and then we'll come back and talk maybe a little more football. And I did a brunch on the river in Fort Lauderdale, and it was very nice from our friend Steve DePuzzo, who has that Sistrunk Marketplace and some other things. But we'll chat more about that after these words on the Lunchbox. It's a little further inland, Luke's Seafood and Grill. That's Luke's with a C. 5511 South University Drive in Davie. Luke and Roxy, they're a great couple with great food. It's a mom and pop shop bringing the freshest fish and seafood to Western Broward. Some of the best jambalaya and fish cakes around. And Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You can find his famous Scoobies, those sauteed crab claws, right there on the specials board most days. Oh, so good. So take a trip to University just north of Sterling today. Lunch, dinner, closed on Mondays. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. A sophisticated setting. I'm talking about Corvina Seafood Grill. It's at 110 Plaza Real South in Boca Raton, just south of Palmetto Park Road. It's the place to go for the freshest and local seafood and fish, some of it with a Peruvian twist like their great ceviches. It's open 7 days for dinner. They also have happy hour 7 days a week. You don't want to miss it. It's a great place. CorvinaBocaRaton.com for more information and reservations. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Best restaurants in South Florida? Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended for a special occasion or any occasion. Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. If you're looking for an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new burrito tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox, sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox, and over the weekend on Saturday, Val and I took a little stroll around the New River area of Fort Lauderdale, which is good walking paths, and we stopped in and we had a brunch at this place called the House on the River. It used to be known a long time ago as the River House, and it was a very nice upscale place back in the day, and then it was closed for a while, but it's now been reopened and rehabilitated by our friend Steve DePuzzo, who has his hand on a number of different restaurants and things around town, including the Sistrunk Marketplace and a new food hall that's in downtown Hollywood that I still haven't been in yet. But this place was very, very pleasant, and you sit outside right on the river. And even though it was a little bit warm, but it's in the shade, trees, all that stuff. And come the the good weather in the winter season, it's going to be a fine place. And Val had a nice avocado toast with shrimp. They do this, they have a bakery on premises where they also sell pastries and stuff for people who just want to take out. But they use those baked goods, the croissants, a huge croissant, and it was like a breakfast sandwich with scrambled eggs, mozzarella cheese, bacon. Anyway, it was great. And I've got nothing to complain about on the group because, I ordered a cup of coffee and they asked, "Do you want a refill?" I said yes. And then I scrutinized my receipt with a magnifying glass to see if they charged for the extra cup of coffee. And lo and behold, no, it was a free refill, which in my book is always a good thing, especially when it's premium coffee. So no complaints, no posted receipts on the group, just a thumbs up from the Lunchbox, the House on the River in Fort Lauderdale. A good place for brunches, and it looks like they have really nice dining rooms and all these separate. It's like a refurbished house that has all these different private dining rooms and place. They have it looks like they have some private events, birthday parties, and I don't know what their hours are, if they're open for dinner every night during the week. But I would say it's a step in the right direction there. So it was good. Defo, did you do any interesting eating over the weekend? Or was it all just watching tennis and nibbling a can of Pringles or something?
I'm just wondering if people will be honest about this and open. How much weight did the average person gain watching football on Sunday?
That was Sunday.
I sent you that clip from Stu Feiner. I mean, which is always hysterical as Monday weigh-ins, yeah, I would think that, if you put on anywhere from 2 to 5 pounds because of the advent of the NFL season starting yesterday, that would be fairly average, no?
There's a reason why I do all my, now it's like monthly weigh-ins, but I do it on a Sunday morning, usually after walking. Because Sundays are cheat day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sundays are cheat day. And I ended up yesterday, after drinking a little at various stops, ended up at a birthday party for a friend of Val's at Shuck and Dive in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, yeah, they had the Stanley Cup there.
And they did. I missed the Stanley Cup, but I did make it for Sunday fried chicken night.
Oh, I've heard that fried chicken's nuts.
It's good. It was a good, just nice plate with some collard greens and mashed potatoes on the side, and it was very worthy fried chicken. So
I met the owner at, and his name escapes me because I can't remember anybody's name a second after they say it.
That's okay.
But he was at Cafe Seville actually. I was at the bar one night. He was kind of holding court and seemed like a wonderful person. I mean, everybody had things to say about that.
Yeah, Val's known him a long time. I don't remember his name either. I've met him a bunch of times in the past, but I haven't seen him in a long time. But, and that's a testament to Joey and Cafe Seville, because you go in there and you sit at the bar.
Oh, they get restaurant tours all the time.
Every time, a couple of times ago, I saw Anthony Bruno likes to hang out. Yes, yeah, and
I was saying Stas. Is that the person's
Stas.
name?
Oh, Stas is the name of the owner. Is that it?
Stop.
Does that ring a
I
bell?
don't know. You know.
Well, Valerie is going to be correct. So
Yeah, I would think she would probably know. Yeah.
and but I run into Anthony Bruno. I've run into I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but I've seen all kinds of restaurateurs in there, and that's a mark of respect when when they go to the place that we love. They hang out. You're going to get a good meal there at Cafe Seville every time. All right, enough of my shilling. What do you think? Aaron Rodgers,
I think the Niners annihilate them.
does his leg hold up? Well, or is he going to have remember Marino came back from Achilles surgery and torched, and he got into a real kind of gunslinger fight against the Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots when Marino came back, and they ended up pulling out that game and threw like 5 TDs when everybody was writing him off. Is Aaron Rodgers going to have that same kind of night?
Body bangs for the Jet fans.
Yeah, I think the Niners kick their ass.
Or is he going to have some sort of
Their season goes up in smoke this evening.
ayahuasca flashback where all of a sudden his receivers are going to be floating up here and he's going to throw it up there, and then next thing you know, there's going to be interception after interception.
I think I'll have a Nick Bosa flashback, and Nick Bosa will be in his face tackling the crap out of him.
You might see his impression in the ground, much like we saw with Tyreek Hill.
Is it wrong that I'm actively rooting against Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, that's what sports are all about. Yeah,
But
favorites and the people you want to see lose every time.
He never did anything to me personally, but I just look, and I like a guy who goes off on journeys and with shamans, whatever you call it.
Right way.
That wasn't even the scariest thing he did. He drove around town with Danica Patrick at the wheel. This woman never got past the third lap of a NASCAR race without crashing her car. Come on.
Yeah, but you got to wonder about a guy who's estranged from his family. Like, if you can't get along with mom,
it's always
and dad,
a little weird. Yeah,
life is short. I mean, patch up any differences. Oh, it's just all right. Well, I'll leave that alone. But I'll leave it alone.
His dad at that celebrity golf tournament, then shoved him into Lake Tahoe. The guy came running around trying to, find some kind of, moment where he could have it with his son. And next thing you know, he's on his back in the lake.
Well, that might be better than what Trump does to people at celebrity golf tournaments. Remember?
That was a famous incident there. Like I said, that steward's inquiry was about as long as the jury was deliberating in the Trump hush money trial.
There you go.
All right. Put the horse down.
That's going to do it for today. We'll see everybody for a doubleheader at Lauderdale by the Sea. If you can make it out to one or the other or both, you get a drink on me. All right. Until then, enjoy every sandwich and go Niners.